Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. You have me, Basil, today to react to Everton's drab 1-0 win at the Britannia at Stoke City. I nearly said 0-0 because it really did feel like a 0-0. It's almost like a defeat. It was so sort of poor. But Everton won the game, so you've got to take something from that. If nothing else, it's a confidence boost. But I was writing out the title for this video, and I was writing Everton's dull 0-0 drab preseason game. And just as that was happening, the goal went in, and I had to scrap it and start again. But it doesn't take away sort of how boring it was. Let's see who we've got here. Rico, good evening to you as well. Yeah, we were lucky to get that goal. It was very dull. And good evening, Barry. That was awful to watch. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, Robbie, we're undefeated. And look at the selection of teams that we've played in pre-season: Wigan, Bolton, and Stoke. And if that's going to prepare you for the Premier League season, then well, I don't know what to say. But at least it was a win. Abo fell asleep watching. Yeah, I fell asleep last week against Wigan, but I managed to stay awake this time. I don't know how. Rico, I see. I've not heard that news, but that's excellent news. If where Bramley Moore's used for Euro 28, I mean, it's good publicity for us, and I guess we'll have some money for doing that. I mean, send in your comments, everyone. It won't be a long stream. I've got to go out in 10 minutes to help my father with his photography job. So it's just going to be a quick one, but there's not a huge amount to say anyway. Let's go with the lineup. It was pretty strong lineup. Probably very similar to what we might see against Fulham in 2 weeks' time. Pickford in goal, obviously. Then Patterson, Michael Keane, Tarkowski, and Ashley Young left back. Still no sign of Mykolenko, probably still injured. Probably not good enough anyway. And then midfield, we had Garner, Decore, and James Garner. And then what did we have? Alex Iwobi, McNeil, and a first start for Danjuma, which was exciting, but delivered rather very little. Probably not directly his fault, but the team and him were just very lackluster throughout that game. Yeah, I was quite excited by seeing that team. It was a pretty strong team, but nothing was rewarded or delivered for us Evertonians watching in that first half. I'm gonna have to check my notes because I can't remember roughly what was even happening in that first half. But yeah, I remember thinking it was a strong team and it was a good reflection of where we're up to in pre-season. And within about 20 minutes thinking, oh no, we're off the pace. We don't have a brain cell amongst the team. And we're in for a long season. I mean, we've got to take it with a pinch of salt because it is still pre-season and we still have 2 weeks to go, and we don't know how much running they've been doing. They've probably been running around even yesterday, so they're a bit leggy. But even still, it was really poor. And we got to see Danjuma playing up front, which we probably don't want to see. Really, we want to see him on the wing, but it's a marker for probably what's likely to happen with Calvert-Lewin's injury record, and so far we haven't signed another striker. So at the moment we're stuck with Danjuma up front. So we've got to give it a go. But I mean, he looked isolated. It was like Decore was playing sort of three-man midfield rather than 2-man with Decore pushed up. He was quite deep. There was no support for Danjuma. He was pretty isolated. And, I thought that first half, Iwobi's brainless. I don't know what's happened to him lately. McNeil was all right, but he was driving into blind alleys. And then you had the midfielders. Decore just gives the ball away too easily. It's like he's riding off his last 6 months at You know, after Lampard was sacked, he was excellent, and you know, he's earned his way back in the team now. Maybe the impetus is lost, and you know, that bit of momentum he had, he needs to somehow find that before the season starts. And then who've got Garner just looks a little bit off the pace. I mean, James Garner looked decent, but you know, he's not got minutes in him, and he got 45 minutes, so that was good to see. Ashley Young's all right, and then centre backs are just still really worried about Michael Keane playing there. He just looks like he's always going to make a mistake. There was one in the first half, he just left it. He just left the ball, and Tarkowski had to just smash it away. But it was like millisecond between the Stoke centre forward going through on goal if Tarkowski hadn't have got a vital clearance on it. It does look like there's a mistake waiting to happen at all times, and we just can't afford that. Yeah, I mean, if that's almost our best team out, and then so we had 10 minutes, it was really sloppy. We struggled to get in the game. There was a counter attack about 16 minutes in where McNeil got dragged down, yellow card. Decore nearly scored off that. I think it was a cross from Ashley Young. Looks like he's taking set pieces now. Flicks up, nodded down to Decore, who wasted a chance. And then Garner had a shot that was prodded over from across from Iwobi. And, you know, that was pretty much it for the whole half. The next 20 minutes after that, we were just like passive, giving the ball away, lethargic, really poor. Just want to get to half time. And then second half, you know, we made 3 changes, didn't we? We got Branthwaite, which I think everyone wanted to see, on for Keane. Thank you. And we got Danjuma went off. Obviously, he's not played the rest of the games so far with the transfer, so he probably couldn't play the whole game. So we got Neil Mopai. So you know, you got Keane off, but you got Mopai on. So make of that what you will. And then James Garner came off for Onana, which is probably a good substitution, get some legs in. And I think Onana had quite a good second half, really. You know, he looked at it, he looked physical, he was defensively really good, and you know, and he got the goal at the end there. So let me check my second half notes, because I could have fallen asleep that second half, but I've only wrote down really for the first 20 minutes that there was a particularly big chance that we could have conceded from, which was Everton's bugbear of last season under Dyche, the switch of play, and Stoke found that switch of play out to the right hand side. Cross came over, and the Stoke forward should have probably finished it off, but he didn't. And then McNeil came off injured, and Dobbin came on, and he looked lively. Probably should have scored, but he did look lively. And you know, the whole team looked a little bit off it in that second half. There was some poor tackles going in, like very late challenges where we were not winning the ball, we were giving fouls away, and you know, we just looked a little bit off it. I like the look of Branthwaite. He looks a lot more aggressive and physical. He's the one who's going to go in for the tackle on that first press, and then Tarkowski will drop off, and in case, you know, he misses the ball. As I say, Onana looked good, but Garner just looks off the pace. He's not getting to his tackles like he would do. He's not really getting the interception. So if he's not going to be offering that, then he can't be playing. You've got to go with Onana in that role. And then we were just really toothless, but we didn't create an awful lot. We did create 2 chances. I think Dobbin had one that Onana put on a plate for him, which was sort of across the face of goal, and they missed it. And I think he just snaps at things too quickly. I think we need to, you know, he needs to just be a bit more composed, which will probably come. And then there was another chance from Dobbin, if I remember rightly, which I think got unleashed by Tarkowski, an overhead ball which he latched onto, and you know, he's pacey, he's dangerous, but he gets in and he just kind of snatches at it with his left foot, and it's just a weak shot. So, and then the last bit of phase of play in the game was the goal, which just came from nothing. But, it doesn't really mean anything. But, it's good to have it. And it was the set piece, wasn't it? Iwobi got the ball out to him after the set piece and put a ball in, and it was flicked off. You guessed it, Tarkovsky, who wins every header in the box, it seems, and actually made it pay for something this time. So that's kind of a summation of what I thought. It wasn't a great watch. It is concerning that we're 2 weeks off the season and we're not looking like we're really up to speed. I think we looked better last week. There was a real lack of link up. The play was going all over the place. It's just like struggling to like thread things together as a team, which has been like that for a few years. But let's see what some of these comments were saying before I go, because I'm sorry I can't stay on very long. I'm just scrolling back. So Barry's saying we need a striker, 100%. We definitely need a striker, and not just any old striker. They've got to hit the ground running, otherwise we're going to struggle. Beaton said thank goodness he didn't watch the first half. Yeah, well, you didn't miss much, and Mark was working, so yeah. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, Mark. Dollars dishwater. Should have done something else on your Saturday afternoon. Mr. Blue Skies, Dobbin looked good on the left wing. Yeah, I think so. And Lee Hill agrees with that. And Rico. Yeah, I agree. I think he did look good, but he just needs to be more composed. Would you take Vardy on a free? Interesting. We were linked with him a few weeks ago, and the links just kind of died off. And it's Iheanacho. It's like anyone who we can get from Leicester because they are relegated. Maybe we can poach somebody on the cheap. At the moment, I would take someone like that. He's established, but he's only going to give you a season, and I don't know how fit he's going to stay. I mean, we've already got Calvert-Lewin. Vardy didn't play quite as many games last year. Yeah, Lee, you can't see where we're going to get the goals on spot on, but I really don't want it to be another season like last season where we struggle to score every single game. And we're going to bore the opposition into submission. Yeah. Mr. Blue Skies thinks the players looked really tired, and Young looked one of our fittest players. I mean, it's quite easy to see already. Young's going to play a lot of games this season because he's already looks a bit more intelligent on the ball than a lot of our players. He's really experienced. He knows what he's doing. And Collis, I will ask again what you fans saying about the nonsense that Keane's still playing. I mean, Dyche just loves him, doesn't he? He's not going to drop him, and we need to buy a centre back or call Yerry Mina up and tell him we need him back, because we can't go a whole season with this. And Godfrey's doesn't fill me with any confidence. He wasn't even in the squad today. He must have got injured. And Branthwaite, he looked decent today, but I just don't want to rely on him. I think he could be a useful player to have this season, probably someone to keep within the fold. But do you want him starting every single week? Well, in an ideal world, maybe not. So we need to get someone in. Mr. Blue Sky says keep Dobbin off the bench for his pace. Yeah, Collis about Keane and Branthwaite. I just think Keane will play every game. I can't see him not starting against Fulham either. We were shite from minute 1. Yeah, pretty much. We just never really turned up. We can't be like that in 2 weeks. And Mr. Blue Sky saying we need to go out for Dia. Looks a quality player. Not seen enough of him to judge, but at this point, I'm willing to take a chance on some sort of centre forward with some credible reputation behind him, and I think he could get us a few goals. more than what we have in the team already. That's for sure. Yeah. Yes, Collis. I agree with you. I think we've got to be a little bit more patient with Onana because the kid's got a lot of talent. I mean, his tackling skill is really high, but you ask him to play up a bit higher up, he seems to get a bit lost. I think he's actually better in that deep role, which Gay plays in, and he's got a bit more pace and cover the ground a bit easier. But he's not as experienced, and I think that's the issue at the moment. The Ross Barkley talk, yeah, this one doesn't surprise me. Obviously, Delhi's a few weeks away. But who are we gonna get in? That's the question. We just, at the moment, we're all out for a centre forward right now. And then the rest of you talking about Keane and Vardy. Stu's saying if we could get Vardy on a free, it would pretty much guarantee a couple of goals, possible wins. Mopey staying at Everton is fucking ridiculous. Guaranteed no goals or wins with him playing. Yeah, pretty much so. Although we did win the game with him on the pitch, but that was a set piece. It looks like the only way we're going to score is off a set piece, and we can't rely on that all season. So we're going to have to do something better. We're going to have to sign. We're still probably 2-3 signings short. This side looks well off it, really. And then playing against Stoke City, and it looked just as bad as they did. And they're playing, next week, their first match. So we've got to sort this out. But I'm going to have to leave it there for now, unfortunately, because I'm going to get shouted at. I've already been shouted down once. But yeah, not great. Probably try and forget about this one for tonight. At least we can say it was a win and a few wins in pre-season, and let's just see how it goes. But if you haven't done, please subscribe, like, all the regular stuff. And thanks for joining me. Have a good rest of the weekend.